I'm Matthew Freeman. We're here to talk about cost of credit and what the key points that you need to understand in this material to do well. And so, first off, what we're going to discuss right here is this over here. What determines the cost of your credit? And key to understanding is there's three factors: bank charges and fees, interest rate components, and third-party costs. You have to factor in the third-party costs that apply to the credit, the bank charges and fees that you're going to get charged, and then the interest rate at which the national the national Fed's interest rate is. These all determine what the interest rate that you'll be charged, and that's going to determine the total cost of your credit. That's what's going to factor, as stated below, the APR that you'll be charged on all money that's borrowed. That's a little better. So, key thing of understanding how these play part of your factor. We're going to hit up real quick is the key points of understanding of the interest is your principal, the rate of your interest, and the time. These are the three components to determine how much interest you're going to pay over that period of time. For a simple interest rate problem, we're just going to use interest equals principal times rate times time. That's it. So we're going to come over here, we're going to look real quickly at an example is if you borrow $100 at 12% interest rate for 1 month, how are you going to figure out how much interest you're going to pay for that 1 month, which is supposed to be $1? You're going to do $100 times 0.12, which is your interest rate. So this is your P, this is your R, and this is the time. 1 month over 12 is 1 month out of the 12. Okay, and we'll show real quick. When you put it in 100 times 0.12 times 1 divided by 12, what does that give you? That gives you 1. You see on the calculator, it's been done. So now you want to do an example of you're doing a net 30, you're taking a loan out for 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. How do you figure out how much interest you're going to be charged for that period of time? Exact same thing. You're going to go do, instead of putting down months, you're going to put down days. There's 360 days in a year. And you determine how many days it is. And so this example, it's 60 days. That gives you 2. Same thing, 2. 100 is your principal, your rate is 0.12, and your time is 60 over 360. Okay? Next one, question. Next thing we need to be concerned about is figure out the maturity date. So to figure out the maturity date, you need to figure out how many days are in that month, if you got 30 or 31, and then determine when that next date will be. Okay, so maturity date, for example, if we said 60 days, and you have to pay your loan on March 20th. So if we do 60 days, we're going to first have to take out, say, March 4th minus the 31. So this right here, 31, that gives us 27 days. Okay, it's 27 days, and we're going to have to take 27 away from the 60. So that's how many days we're doing, right? And let's make that a 5. So we got still 33 days left. But if we know April's got 30 days, so then we know it's going to fall in May. So 30 minus 3 is going to be 30. So May is going to be on the 3rd. May 3rd is when that's due. If you do the 90 days, you see the example they give down there. The 90 days, it should be June 2nd. So that's how you figure out the maturity date when you're trying to do it 30, 90 days or so forth, depending on how many days you're given how many days that loan's going to be. Okay, next one. How you can see the effects of the loan reducing how much interest you pay as your principal is applied. Okay, so here is our interest column. This is our principal column. It's kind of got set up a little goofy, and this is loan balance. All right, so as you notice, as you make that $100 payment towards 1,000, 10% initially on the first payment goes to interest, 90% goes to principal. That 90% drops the principal down to 910. So when you factor out the interest for the following month, it now becomes 910. So 910 minus the 990 is now 819.10, and so forth. So if you notice the interest rate each month drops because of the principal balance is dropping also each month as the principal is applied to that balance. And so over the time period, that interest becomes less significant to the total balance as it allows more principal to apply as we're seeing the principal each month increase and the interest decrease. And this is how these scheduled payments are viewed in how you can notice that how the interest rate is applied over the time period and becomes less significant as you pay more towards off the balance. And that's why it's important to always try to pay a balance off as quick as possible because it reduces the significant value that interest applies into the effect of how much more money is applied to your overall balance. Okay, financial charges, key thing here, understanding on the financial charge. Is this, oh, get my mouse over here. Oh, there it goes, finally. Is understanding is the annual percentage rate, the total dollar spent, and alternative source of credit. Key things of understanding. Understand your annual percentage rate, how much you're being charged. It is required by law to let you know that. Understand that. Know what it is. Know what service fees will be applied. They will tell you those things. What service fees are you getting charged for? Okay. Understand that what affects the interest rate is the amount of uncollected debt that you have on accounts. Okay, and how often that debt is not paid can causes an increase of the amount of interest that companies will charge to try to accumulate the loss that they incurred. Okay, the future main thing right here is understanding that credit is future income being spent. Credit is money that you don't have that you're spending and that you promise to pay back with interest as a fee to borrow that money. So you're using future money that you don't have to invest and to use for yourself to pay that you're using to pay off with short periods of time. So understand how that affects you and how it affects the future of how you're able to invest and use your money. That's it. This is the last one. This will be showing next slide. If you have any questions, comment below. Hopefully you learned something.